In this episode, we look at monitoring and several operational controls that help organizations notice, allow, block, manage, or stop activity across devices, networks, and wireless environments. Security operations is not only about building defenses once and hoping they work. It is also about watching what happens every day, recognizing when behavior changes, and using controls that can respond to known risks. Monitoring and alerting give defenders visibility. Mobile device management, MDM, helps manage phones, tablets, and sometimes laptops that connect to business resources. Allow lists define what is approved. Block lists define what is denied. Intrusion detection systems, IDS, watch for suspicious activity. Intrusion prevention systems, IPS, can take action to block or disrupt that activity. Wireless intrusion prevention systems, WIPS, focus on threats in wireless networks. These controls do different jobs, but they all help turn security policy into daily protection. Before we continue, a quick note. This audio course is part of our companion study series. The first book is a detailed study guide that explains the exam and helps you prepare for it with confidence. The second is a Kindle-only ebook with 1,000 flashcards you can use on your mobile device or Kindle for quick review. You can find both at Cyber.Me in the Bare Metal Study Guide series. Monitoring is the ongoing observation of systems, networks, applications, users, devices, and security events. Without monitoring, an organization may have no idea that something unusual is happening until users complain, data is exposed, or systems stop working. Monitoring can include log collection, network traffic observation, endpoint activity, authentication events, cloud activity, application errors, wireless events, and alerts from security tools. The purpose is to create visibility. You cannot respond to what you cannot see. Good monitoring helps security teams notice failed logins, unusual access patterns, malware detections, block connections, configuration changes, data transfers, and other signals that may point to risk. Monitoring is also useful for normal operations because it can show whether systems are healthy, whether capacity is being stretched, and whether controls are functioning. In security operations, visibility is the starting point for informed action. Alerting is the next step after monitoring because someone or something needs to be notified when activity deserves attention. An alert might be created when an administrator account logs in from an unusual location, when malware is detected on a workstation, when a firewall blocks repeated connection attempts, or when a wireless access point appears that does not belong to the organization. Alerts should be useful, timely, and clear enough to guide a response. Too few alerts can leave important events unnoticed. Too many alerts can overwhelm defenders and cause alert fatigue, where people start ignoring warnings because most of them are not meaningful. A strong alerting approach tries to balance sensitivity with context. The goal is not to alert on everything. The goal is to alert on activity that matters, enrich it with enough information, and route it to people or systems that can respond appropriately. Monitoring also depends on baselines. A baseline is a normal pattern of behavior that helps you recognize when something has changed. For example, a server may usually communicate with a small set of systems, a user may normally sign in during business hours, or a wireless network may normally have a known list of approved access points. If behavior moves far outside that normal range, it may deserve attention. Baselines are not perfect because normal business activity changes over time. People travel, systems are updated, applications are added, and traffic patterns shift. Still, baselines give defenders a reference point. Without a sense of normal, everything can look equally confusing. For Security Plus, remember that monitoring is not only collecting logs. It is collecting information, comparing it to expected behavior, and using that comparison to support detection, investigation, and response. Mobile device management, MDM, helps organizations manage and secure mobile devices that access business resources. These devices may include smartphones, tablets, and sometimes laptops, depending on the platform and policy. MDM can enforce screen locks, require device encryption, manage applications, push security settings, separate business data from personal data, locate lost devices, and remotely wipe business information when a device is lost or an employee leaves. This matters because mobile devices often travel outside the office, connect to many networks, and store or access sensitive data. A lost phone with email, files, authentication apps, and business chat can become a security issue very quickly. MDM gives the organization a way to apply consistent controls even when devices are not physically in the building. It also helps support Bring Your Own Device (BYOD) programs when personal devices are allowed to access work resources. MDM is not only about locking down devices. It is also about making access decisions based on device condition and policy compliance. A company may require that a device has a passcode, current operating system updates, encryption enabled, and no signs of being jailbroken or rooted before it can access email or cloud applications. If the device falls out of compliance, access may be limited until the problem is corrected. This connects MDM to broader access control because the identity of the user is not the only thing that matters. The health and trustworthiness of the device matter too. A valid user account on an unsafe device can still create risk. MDM can also help with application control by allowing approved business apps, blocking risky apps, or distributing required apps. The goal is to make mobile access safer without pretending mobile devices behave exactly like office desktops. Allow lists define what is permitted. In an allow list model, only approved items are allowed, and everything else is denied by default. The approved item could be an application, website, internet protocol, IP address, email sender, device, process, file hash, or network connection. Allow listing is often stronger than simply blocking known bad items because unknown items do not automatically get permission. For example, an application allow list may permit only approved software to run on a sensitive workstation. That can reduce the risk of malware or unauthorized tools executing. A network allow list may permit traffic only from known management systems. The strength of allow listing is control. The challenge is maintenance. If the allow list is too strict or poorly managed, legitimate work may be blocked. If it is too broad, the benefit becomes weaker. Allow lists work best when the organization knows what should be trusted. Block lists define what is denied. In a block list model, activity is generally allowed unless it matches something known or suspected to be harmful, unwanted, or prohibited. A block list may include malicious domains, known phishing senders, file hashes associated with malware, risky internet protocol addresses, banned applications, or prohibited websites. Block lists are common because they are practical and easy to understand. If a security vendor identifies a malicious domain, the organization can block access to it. If a file is known malware, endpoint tools can block it. The limitation is that block lists depend on knowing what to block. New threats, changed infrastructure, and modified malware may not appear on the list yet. This is why block listing is useful but not complete. It is often combined with allow listing, behavior monitoring, reputation checks, filtering, and detection tools to create a stronger defense. Allow lists and block lists represent two different security philosophies. Allow lists start from deny by default and then permit what is approved. Block lists start from allow by default and then deny what is known to be bad or unwanted. Neither approach is always perfect. Allow listing can be very secure for controlled environments, such as servers, kiosks, administrative workstations, or industrial systems where expected behavior is narrow. It can be difficult in flexible environments where users need many changing tools. Block listing can be easier to operate at scale, but it may miss new or unknown threats. In many organizations, the two approaches are used together. A company might allow only approved applications on high-risk systems, while also block listing known malicious domains across the network. The exam often asks you to recognize whether the scenario is permitting only approved items or denying known bad items. An intrusion detection system, IDS, monitors activity and alerts when it sees something suspicious. It does not usually block the activity by itself. It watches, analyzes, and reports. An IDS may examine network traffic, system behavior, signatures of known attacks, unusual patterns, or policy violations. A network intrusion detection system, NIDS, watches network traffic. A host intrusion detection system, HIDS, watches activity on a specific device or host. The value of an IDS is visibility. It may detect port scans, exploit attempts, suspicious payloads, policy violations, or unexpected traffic. Because it is not usually inline as an active blocker, it can be deployed with less risk of interrupting legitimate traffic. The trade-off is that detection alone does not stop the attack. Someone or something still has to investigate and respond when the alert is meaningful. An intrusion prevention system, IPS, goes beyond detection because it can take action to block, drop, reset, or otherwise prevent suspicious activity. An IPS is often placed inline, meaning traffic passes through it. That position gives it the ability to stop traffic before it reaches the target. For example, if the IPS recognizes a known exploit attempt, it may block the packet or connection. This can reduce damage and speed response because the control acts immediately. The trade-off is that prevention systems must be tuned carefully. If an IPS incorrectly identifies legitimate traffic as malicious, it may block normal business activity. This is called a false positive. If it misses harmful traffic, that is a false negative. The stronger the automated blocking role, the more important it becomes to manage rules, test changes, monitor impact, and understand what the system is doing. The difference between IDS and IPS is a favorite exam distinction. IDS detects and alerts. IPS detects and can prevent. A simple way to keep them separate is to think of IDS as a camera and alarm, while IPS is closer to a guard who can stop someone at the door. That comparison is not perfect, but it helps. Detection gives visibility. Prevention adds enforcement. Many environments use both ideas in different places. A team may deploy detection where it wants visibility without risking disruption, and prevention where it has enough confidence to block harmful activity. Some tools can run in either mode, first monitoring only and later blocking after tuning. This staged approach helps teams learn what the tool sees before giving it authority to interrupt traffic. The right choice depends on risk tolerance, confidence, and business impact. A wireless intrusion prevention system, WIPS, focuses on wireless threats. Wireless networks create special risks because radio signals can extend beyond walls, parking lots, neighboring offices, and public areas. A WIPS may detect rogue access points, unauthorized wireless clients, evil twin networks, misconfigured access points, unusual wireless behavior, or attempts to attack wireless authentication. A rogue access point is an unauthorized access point connected to or pretending to be part of the organization's network. An evil twin is a malicious wireless network that imitates a legitimate one to trick users into connecting. WIPS tools may monitor the wireless environment and, depending on configuration and legal boundaries, may attempt to disrupt unauthorized wireless connections. The main idea is that wireless defense needs wireless visibility. Traditional wired network monitoring may not see threats that exist in the radio space around the organization. Wireless prevention must be handled carefully because radio environments can include neighboring businesses, visitors, public networks, and personal devices. An organization should know what it is allowed to monitor and what actions it is allowed to take. Blocking or disrupting wireless activity outside the organization's authority can create legal or operational problems. Still, wireless monitoring is important because attackers do not need to plug into a wall jack if they can exploit weak wireless security, trick users into joining a fake network, or place an unauthorized access point nearby. A WIPS can support detection and response by identifying suspicious service set identifiers, unexpected access point locations, unusual signal patterns, and unauthorized devices. It also helps validate that the approved wireless network remains configured properly. For exam purposes, connect WIPS with wireless-specific detection and prevention, especially rogue access points and evil twin risks. These controls work best when they are connected to response processes. Monitoring without response becomes noise. MDM without enforcement becomes inventory. Allow lists and block lists without maintenance become stale. IDS alerts without investigation become ignored warnings. IPS blocking without tuning can disrupt business. WIPS findings without follow-up may leave rogue wireless risks in place. Operational security is about keeping controls alive. That means reviewing alerts, updating lists, tuning signatures, checking device compliance, investigating suspicious activity, and documenting actions. It also means understanding false positives and false negatives. A false positive can waste time or block legitimate activity. A false negative can allow harmful activity to continue unnoticed. Mature security operations tries to improve signal quality over time, so defenders spend more energy on real issues and less energy chasing noise. For security plus questions, match the control to the action in the scenario. If the scenario describes collecting logs, watching systems, and creating alerts, think monitoring and alerting. If it describes enforcing security settings on phones, tablets, or managed mobile devices, think MDM. If it allows only approved applications, devices, senders, or destinations, think allow list. If it denies known malicious or prohibited items, think block list. If it watches traffic or host activity and sends alerts, think IDS. If it sits inline and can block suspicious traffic, think IPS. If it focuses on rogue access points, evil twins, or unauthorized wireless activity, think WIPS. Also watch for the trade-offs. Detection gives visibility, prevention gives enforcement, allow lists give tighter control, block lists give practical denial of known bad items, and mobile management brings policy to devices that move. The larger lesson is that operational controls help security teams manage real activity in real environments. Monitoring shows what is happening. Alerting points attention toward events that may matter. MDM helps keep mobile devices aligned with policy. Allow lists reduce risk by permitting only what is approved. Block lists reduce risk by denying known bad or unwanted activity. IDS gives visibility into suspicious behavior. IPS can actively block that behavior when confidence is high enough. WIPS extends detection and prevention into the wireless space, where threats may not appear on normal wired monitoring. These controls are not interchangeable, and none of them removes the need for judgment. They give defenders ways to observe, decide, enforce, and respond. When you understand what each one does, exam scenarios become easier to read and real security operations becomes easier to picture.
Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit BareMetalCyber.com.